RHS Pre-Calculus presents Nautical Coordinations of Pearl. Goal: to understand the polar coordinate system.
Today we're going to tell you a story about our good friend Pearl the oyster. Pearl lives on the origin of the town of Atlantis, deep within the Bermuda Triangle. She gets around the ocean using a jetpack that only takes polar coordinates. One day, Pearl's boyfriend, Bucky the sea cucumber, invited her over, telling her that his house was on the rectangular coordinate of square root of 3, 1. Pearl went to see her grandpa Scallop, a master in polar coordinates, to find out how to convert to polar form.
Pearl, first let me review the definition of polar coordinates. Polar coordinates are a different way to navigate the coordinate map, and they're used in our jetpacks as why we won the Great Shellfish Stingray War of 1985. But I digress. Polar coordinates use the form r, theta, in which theta represents the direction given by the angle from 0 degrees, and r represents the distance from the origin in the provided direction. The other method of navigation around the coordinate map is the rectangular coordinate system, which uses the form x, y. We convert algebraically using the following very simple formulas. Now let's try this. Where was it you wanted to go again?
Pearl told him she wanted to go to her friend's house at square root of 3, 1.
I think we need to find r first, right, Grandpa?
Very good. Now the formula we are going to use is r squared equals x squared plus y squared. Now let's plug in x and y in the equation. To find r, we set up the equation r squared equals root 3 squared plus 1 squared. After solving for r squared, we get that r squared equals 4, so r equals 2. We have now found the value of r. Now which equation should we use to find theta?
Tangent theta is equal to y over x.
Very good! Let's plug in x and y in the equation. To find theta, we use the equation tan theta equals 1 over root 3. To simplify this fraction, we multiply both the numerator and the denominator by root 3. We then get tangent theta equals root 3 over 3. We then take the arctangent of both sides. Using the unit circle, we find that the arctangent of root 3 over 3 is pi over 6. We get that theta is equal to pi over 6, and the polar coordinate is 2 pi over 6.
Thanks, Grandpa. See you later.
It was my pleasure. She looks so much like her grandma, Gooey Duck.
So Pearl headed off to Bucky's. While they were watching a scary movie, Night of the Living Coral, Bucky got too frisky and accidentally hit a button on Pearl's jetpack, causing it to shut down completely.
Oh no, this is terrible. You have to drive me to the mechanic.
So they hopped into Bucky's Chevrolet. However, Pearl only knew the polar coordinate, and Bucky couldn't understand it. They knew what they had to do, convert back to rectangular form. So Pearl whipped out her equations and furiously began to convert.
The polar coordinate for the mechanic shop is 2, pi. We need to find x first, and to do so, we set up the equation x is equal to r cosine theta, and get x is equal to 2 cosine pi. From the unit circle, we know that cosine pi is equal to -1. We then multiply out and get x is equal to -2. To find y, we set up the equation y is equal to r sine theta, and get y is equal to 2 sine pi. We know that sine pi is 0 from the unit circle. As we multiply out, we get that y is equal to 0. The rectangular coordinate is -2, 0.
They headed to the mechanic, who quickly fixed Pearl's jetpack. Bucky drove her home without anyone catching them, and both were very relieved, and hopefully you are too now that you understand polar coordinates.